is the Weather Extreme video for Saturday, May the 8th. I'm meteorologist Brian Peters, and before we get to the weather, let me get to some important events going on in Helena this weekend. How about the Helena Buck Creek Festival today? And we'd welcome you to come on down to the Helena Amphitheater at Buck Creek and enjoy all of the music, festivities, food, just everything, and be sure to say hello. All right, how about some Skycam imagery? There's a look at the clearing skies across North Alabama and the Tennessee River Valley as a cold front is moving through the area. Still cloudy at Tuscaloosa, Birmingham, and points to the south and east. And wow, is it really cloudy at Cheaha? I don't think they've got fog. I think they actually have just plain old clouds. Here is the surface map this morning, and you can see that cold front that is moving through the area. Very little precipitation occurring in Alabama, some back in central Mississippi. We'll look at radar in just a minute. In the upper atmosphere, the main westerlies are a little bit further to the north, which is why we're having very little weather down this way. You can see a lot of weather all the way from Maine all the way down to the central Appalachians in the vicinity of extreme western Virginia. Now, and a little bit of activity down over Louisiana and Mississippi. Temperature-wise, you can actually see the front pretty well here. Look at the contrast there where it goes from 70 at Montgomery to looks like about 60 at Memphis, and then back into the 40s around St. Louis and Kansas City. A little closer to home, though, you can see the wind shift has occurred at Birmingham, Calera, Tuscaloosa, but the wind still out of the south and southwest at Montgomery and points down in southeast Alabama. As I mentioned, the radar showing just a little bit of activity down in central Mississippi and down into parts of northern and central Louisiana. Wind advisories in effect for a lot of areas. That is those brown areas, and of course, actually, a little bit of some winter advisories across the northern Great Lakes. QPF-wise, not much expected over the next few days across central Alabama. Much of the overall weather pattern has shifted to the north of us, so we see a lot of rain from New England back across the Great Lakes and into the central U.S. But for us down here, very little rain. The next small chance is going to come probably on Monday. Storm Prediction Center not outlooking a specific area for a slight risk, but noting some possibilities in New England and along the Southeast U.S. Atlantic coast. All right, here's the surface map from the 06Z GFS model run, and you can see forecasting a little bit of precipitation as a possibility along that front. But I think for the most part, maybe Georgia and down into South Alabama may see something. But I think here the front has passed and we're into improving conditions. The ridge builds in Sunday, or begins to build in Sunday just a little bit, and that dries things out. Now, the GFS is suggesting the possibility of what appears to be a little warm front going north, but I just don't see that a whole lot. And then by Monday, we're under. The ridge is much stronger with a short wave coming out of the central and southern Rockies, but the GFS is still hinting at some precipitation. I mentioned the possibility of an isolated shower overnight or Monday, and I don't know. I just don't put a lot of faith in that. I think the GFS has kind of overdone that particular thing right there, but you know how it is with computer models. Sometimes they seem to know something that meteorologists don't. The ridge continues to be relatively strong as the main westerlies continue across the northern part of the United States and the Canadian border area and the Great Lakes, with pretty strong trough developing on the west coast. That trough continues to get stronger, and our ridge continues to pump up. On Wednesday, that keeps us high and dry. The ridge pumping up even a little stronger on Thursday, and once again that keeps us high and dry, with most of the precipitation stretching from the eastern Great Lakes down into West Texas, across parts of Illinois, Indiana, Missouri, and Oklahoma. By Friday, though, we're beginning to see the ridge kind of breaking down somewhat, with a combination of a little short wave coming out of Texas, along with that trough coming out of the northern Rockies. So that may see some changes and actually bring the weather a little closer to us on Friday, but it still would suggest that we're going to be dry. And then on Saturday, the ridge breaks down really a lot as that trough moves across the Great Lakes and actually is a closed low, but the bulk of precipitation on Saturday up into the Great Lakes and along the mid-Atlantic coast, but once again, the possibility of some isolated showers, perhaps maybe going to scattered across the southeastern U.S. and parts of north and central Alabama. Now, I don't have a lot of faith in the GFS further out here, and you'll see why here is very suddenly the GFS goes into an omega block situation, and that's that huge ridge up into western and central Canada. And I don't know, I just the whole pattern shifts so rapidly. It just, I don't know, it just seems unnatural. So I'm not putting a great deal of faith in our voodoo country out there. And then by Sunday the 23rd, man, there is one heck of a huge omega block, and you can see that over central Canada. And once again, I don't know, it seems like the GFS goes into that so quickly. Puts me in a position where I don't trust it, and you know how voodoo is, it'll probably change. Well, listen, thanks for tuning into the Weather Xtreme video. I hope that you have a great weekend, and remember, come on by the Helena Amphitheater in the Buck Creek Park for the Buck Creek Festival today. Runs until 10 o'clock tonight. Hope to see you there. In the meantime, have a great weekend and Godspeed.
Each day there are new stories to tell about the people who live here and the place we call home.
All of the faces that I see, all of the places close to me, they're all part of all the best things about home.
Sharing your stories on ABC 3340, Alabama's news leader.